Welcome, friends. This is the third podcast of StruEngineers. The earlier two podcasts we had were with my colleague Mangesh, who is the senior structural engineer, and the discussions were completely technical in nature. So, what we covered in the first podcast was a parking structure in Precast, followed by a discussion on a data center in Precast, and we delved into the technical aspects of how these structures are designed. But today I have with me our managing director, Mr. Suhas Mohol. And this discussion will be a different discussion. It won't be a completely technical discussion. While technical expertise or skills are necessary for the success of any company, there are many other aspects also which are equally important. And this is what we are going to discuss today with my boss, Mr. Suhas Mohol, who has been one of the founding members of the company. And he is with me right now. Good morning, sir.
Morning.
Yeah, how are you? It's really nice to have you here. We planned to have the first podcast with you, but then I think time didn't really permit. So it's great to have you here, sir.
Pleasure. Thank
Yeah.
you.
So I'll just brief you out what we are going to discuss. Now we all know that India is a powerhouse of talent. Okay, and there's a lot of outsourcing that happens to various companies in India, and this talent pool exists in almost every industry sector. And we belong to a very specialized sector in civil engineering. Okay, so True Engineers also has been one such beneficiary of outsourcing services. So I know it's been long 14 years since 2011, and I just want to know from you how all this started and what kind of a global footprint we have. Okay, because most of the companies that outsource to India, we have seen companies coming and going, but then True Engineers has been consistently strong, and we've been growing in terms of the variety of projects and the amount of clients that we are adding. So, can you just give us an overview of the global footprint?
Yeah. Thank you for inviting me here, Prashant. I think we started our solution company in 2011, and since Stru Engineers, it has a parent company StruSoft, which is primarily in Europe. But in 2011, we started with the engineering operation in India. And as far as the global footprints, I think we are very dominant in Europe as it is our home market. But having said that, we also follow the precast companies in other territories like US, Middle East, Australia, New Zealand, and Asia Pacific. So overall, we have covered most of the market, including India as well.
Okay, yeah. And could you also explain what kind of expertise has led to what attributes have led to this kind of a success for true engineers, because it's difficult, sitting in India catering to a global clientele could be challenging. So what are the key aspects which have led to this kind of success or a nice growth that we are seeing in the global market?
Yeah. As you said, outsourcing, I would say we are not an outsourcing company, but we are a partner company to most of the precast companies overseas. So that really gives us a different aspect looking at the design process. And we are carrying the advantage of having a European parent. So we know the standards and practices coming from that culture. So it really gives us a really good advantage. And then we have a team of engineers who are there since inception. So you can imagine like how much experience we are having on board. So I think these are the factors which really contribute to our success.
Yeah, I think you use the right word, partners, and it's not just a client vendor relationship. So, I mean, what do you think a company looks for in a partner? Like, say, when they are trying to offload some kind of services to a foreign client, okay, somebody in India or maybe somebody in Philippines. So, what are the most important aspects that the company is looking for?
See, 20, 25 years back when I started my career, there was just outsourcing work happening. Companies in abroad, they were sending work, a repetitive task rather. But now there is a rather more expectation from India, since there is a great talent pool available. And why not that great talent pool at very cost effective pricing model as well. So I think to tap both the advantages, most of the companies are coming to India, and they look at us as a really global hub for the technical pool.
Yes, sir. Now we belong to a very specialized segment within the civil engineering industry. So we are into precast designs and detailing services. Now within this niche also, okay, see competition is always there across the world. So when there's a company say sitting in the UK, for example, okay, they have the choice of outsourcing services or partnering with somebody within the country, because there are companies in the UK also who are purely service oriented. Then, of course, they have a country like India which they can look up to. There are other countries also competing with India for similar services. So, with all this kind of competition, uh, what makes it special? I mean, why should a company choose StruEngineers as a preferred partner?
Yeah. It is absolutely the fact that there is a competition, not just within India, but many of the companies are available in global market where there is a competition for Indian companies. So, for example, if you look at Middle Eastern countries, if you look at Philippines, if you look at Africa, so there are many countries who are really competing. So we have to be at one step ahead to keep into this market. uh, we as I mentioned, we are carrying the inherent advantage of being a European entity, so we know exactly the standards and practices, how they come, and how the companies work altogether in foreign countries. So that advantage we are carrying. Also, if we look at cost saving factor, actually it is not a factor, since there are projects which are really on a high stakes. So most of the companies would not think of in saving few percentage over design cost, but they look at the capability of the company where they are sending their work. So that is a really major factor. The next factor is about the aspect of trust. The trust is in your efficiency, in your quality work, and in your skills. So that trust is very important. And what True Engineers brings on table is the trust with the customer. It brings its product and services together. So that's really unique combination. Not major companies are giving that kind of combination. So I think that combination really works for the customers, where True Engineers set up their design using Impact Beam software, which is really a great software in terms of design and production planning. So I think that really gives us an edge over other companies. And what True Engineers are doing is they are giving the complementary usage of Impact Beam system, so that there is a project manager viewer which has been installed on client's computer, and this is on cloud, so they can track the progress of the project, and they can see how the designs are going, and there is a good coordination between customer and True Engineers. So I think these are the value addition we are bringing to the table for the customer. So that makes us different than the other companies.
Okay, so let me summarize this. A company typically, a large company, they already have a design department with them. Okay, despite that, they also look up to other players outside within the country or outside the country. I see this could be from your experience. I see a major advantage in this. Now we are specialized companies or companies like us, okay, who have people dedicated only for that kind of a task. Now, in case of True Engineers, the major advantage is people who have been since inception are still here, so they have a huge amount of experience from the precast design segment, and they've been learning, they've been growing in terms of experience. See, an employee in a company, when he can leave the company, okay, at any point, and sometimes that could lead to a vacuum. Some kind of knowledge transfer is expected, whereas we already have a lot many engineers. So if something happens, I mean, something like a company employee leaving that particular position will not be a situation in our case, because there is always somebody, okay, there's always somebody who has the expertise level to take care if somebody from our side also happens to leave the company. So that discontinuity aspect is managed. Then, as you said, okay, it's more about the trust, because we have the relevant experience. Okay, so company, just in order to save 5 or 10% is not going to just loosely offload their assignments to any company for that matter. So that seems to be a good advantage. And by offering a part of the impact BIM package, I think we are trying to make their work much simpler, so that it's like, okay, they can just focus on their work, and the coordination can be with our team here in India, and the same facility or the same package project viewer also happens to facilitate coordination among their members at various sites. So I think it's about the trust and the experience, if we have to summarize everything in a nutshell. So that's what we are offering.
To extend one of the factor I forgot to mention, StruEngineers and StruSoft together are really focused on precast. So if you look at our impact beam software, which is really focused on precast,
Yes,
so
yes.
it has really expertise since 35 years, and StruEngineers more than 12 years now into precast. So we really focus on our own skills, and we offer those services to the customer. So those are really focused services we are offering. So I think that really gives us an edge over other competitions.
Exactly. Yes. Now, sir, since we have so many clients abroad, okay, in fact, I think still we have more of our clients abroad, because it all started, with some jobs from the European market. How, and then of course we have people in Middle East. We have done projects in Canada and the US. So how is the time zone aspect managed? Because I know earlier it started all with a small team. Now we have a large team, but then still, how are these things managed?
If you typically look at European and Indian time zone, or Middle Eastern and Indian, so there is not a much difference, 3.5 hour to 4.5 hour range. So I think that really gives us an advantage where customer, if they send us some comments overnight, so early morning we come up and we just incorporate this modification or comments, and send back the drawings before the customer comes. So he has everything on his table before he start his work. So that is really great advantage we are using with the time zones. So I think that has given age to the Indian companies with the time zones.
Yes, definitely. Yeah. And coming to another aspect, I mean, since it's been a long journey, can you narrate two instances or two projects, whatever, I mean, that makes you feel proud of the team, that, okay, this is something which was really a superhuman kind of an achievement?
True. We recently finished couple of projects in Saudi Arabia. Uh, with the precast, there is always a challenge of timeline, because
Yes.
everything comes at very fast pace as far as the design is concerned. So we did two projects. One is school building and another is parking garage, and the timelines were really hard in terms of achieving the targets. But we did that, and I think we believe in our software. Because of that, we could efficiently do the work. So we always claim that 70% efficiency, so we can save 70% of our time of detailing time. So I think that really gives us an edge to deliver on the time. So there was a trust factor between us and client with this challenging timeline. And another example I could give here is example from Africa. Africa is also new to this precast concept or the technology. So we did one database center there. That was a huge building actually, and the challenge was the huge loads coming on the floors. But we really use our skills and gave a solution. And again, there was a time crunch as well on that, but we did that and we gave a lot of solution to the customer with our experience, and I think customer was really happy at the end of the day. So these are the examples I would say really gave me a satisfaction or company a satisfaction.
So yeah, of course, we talked about the overall experience and the various factors that contribute to the structured way in which we are growing. Um, can you tell me about the resource center arrangement that we have with one of our clients from the UK and Ireland?
As we mentioned about the trust factor, so the same trust factor applies here. So when we started relation, it was just few jobs we did, and then they were using impact system for their own as well, but they believed in our skills as well, and then slowly started giving us more work. But that ended up in a resource center where there's a great advantage of having a dedicated resource abroad, offline, offshore, and that makes like a fixed cost every month, so they don't have to worry about the cost every time on the every project. So that advantage is there, and the resources are fixed for them uh, for a definite number of months or years. So I think that really gives customer and us as a trusted partnership in this resource center. So we really thrive on that relationship.
Yeah. So it's just like the ultimate level of trust or confidence anyone can have. So when somebody is trusting us as a resource center, so I think nothing can be. I mean, that's the ultimate level of trust and confidence that we can claim that the client has on us.
The biggest advantage for customer as well, as they don't have to worry about resources at their end. So they have the offshore resource center, so they don't have to look at their HR and administration part
Yes,
at their
yes.
end in their country. So that gives them a very good advantage that some companies offering them these services. So I think it creates win-win situation for either party.
Yes, yes, hiring can be difficult. Okay, a person coming on board, even if he's an experienced person, knowing the company standards. So for him to get set on the job can take some time. And again, unfortunately, if he leaves before the expected time, there's again the entire process which we have to do with the recruitment agencies or paper, whatever advertisements, and that leads to a lot of inconvenience. The other thing I think is okay, as we have some clients who keep giving us projects, and for every project there has to be a quotation, okay, a detailed study. So I think all those steps or factors are completely eliminated when we are working as a resource center for any company.
Yeah, and
Yes.
getting the resource and training them on impact again. I mean, it takes time to have resource and train them on the impact system, or to get them on the standards and practices. So they have a ready-made solution. So I think that creates a really a good situation scenario for them.
Yeah, so ultimately the focus is that okay, the client has to focus on their core area of expertise, and if we take care of the other supplementary activities, okay, so they don't really have to worry too much and they can focus more on the strategic aspects of their business than
Exactly.
the routine aspects.
Exactly, and the cloud has enabled the databases in the cloud. So whatever is done in Pune, the design wise, the model is seen in the country where the projects are done. So that gives really a good building information modeling system for them.
So I think, yeah, I know you're pressed for time, so I should thank you for sparing your time coming on to the podcast. Uh, so let's hope we have some more discussions on some other specific issues in future. Thanks a lot, sir.
Thank you, Prashant.
Yes, so friends, as we saw, it's not just the technical skills that are the major contributor to a company's success or growth. We need to have the other soft skills also. I mean, when we look at a collaboration between a principal company who wishes to outsource something of a high value, okay, it's not a loose, routine, repetitive outsourcing that we are talking about here. So they will look for a partner who is not only cost effective, but then who has the necessary skill sets, which we, of course, we already have. And the other aspects like trust and confidence that, okay, these people have the skill sets and they can deliver projects in time the way it is expected to be delivered. Okay, in time. That's very important because precast is something which works on a fast timeline. So the timing has to be really important. And the third is the overall user experience because see, at True Engineers, we believe in addressing the pain areas the industry is facing. So we have to be one step ahead, trying to know what better we can do in terms of a user experience. And of course, we have this fantastic tool Impact, which really equips us to solve many difficulties and save a lot of time that the clients are facing in their day-to-day precast operations. So I think this about sums up the entire discussion, and I look forward to having or continuing with the technical podcast with Mangesh. Till then, thank you.